What if the shortcut you took didn't lead you to your destination, but trapped you in an endless loop, circling the same road with no way out? The movie opens deep in a dense forest, where a young boy is quietly coloring in his notebook. Suddenly, the sound of a gunshot echoes through the trees. Startled, the boy stands up in fear. He turns to see his father, who has just successfully shot a deer. The father then hands his son a knife, urging him to skin the animal. But the boy freezes, clearly overwhelmed and terrified. Instead of offering comfort, the father grows impatient and begins shouting at him. The scene fades. Years pass, and that's when the real story begins. We're introduced to a couple, Olivia and Reed, who are deeply in love. Olivia is pregnant, and Reed proposes to her. She says yes, filling both of them with joy. To celebrate, they throw an engagement party at Reed's parents' remote home nestled in the forest. The mood is cheerful, with friends and family gathered around, all happy for the couple. Reed spends most of the night capturing special moments on his camera, especially shots of Olivia laughing with her friends. Everything seems picture-perfect. But beneath all the celebration, there's an unresolved tension. Reed hasn't spoken to his father in years. The cause is never fully explained, but the emotional distance is obvious. Still, his father shows he cares. As the couple gets ready to return to the city, Reed's father quietly tells him he's already packed the car, with food, fuel, clothes, and even weapons, just in case. Reed doesn't quite see the point of all the precautions. After all, it's just a short drive. But his father remains firm, warning him that the road ahead can be unpredictable. Before they part ways, his father brings up Reed's upcoming marriage to Olivia, questioning whether he's truly ready and if he's really left the past behind. The conversation touches a nerve. Tension begins to build, but before it escalates, Olivia arrives and the moment passes. Neither of them suspects that this trip is about to spiral into something far darker than they could imagine. As they drive, an uneasy silence fills the car. Sensing Reed's lingering frustration, Olivia gently reminds him to let go of the past and focus on the life they're about to build together. But suddenly, a car appears out of nowhere. Reed swerves just in time, narrowly avoiding a crash. The near miss shakes them both, especially with Olivia's pregnancy weighing on their minds. After catching their breath, they realize they've strayed off their planned route. Now lost in unfamiliar backroads, they come to a fork. Two paths, one choice. Reed leans toward one direction, but Olivia suggests the other, pointing out there might be a gas station that way. Hesitant, but trusting her instinct, Reed agrees to follow her lead. Unbeknownst to them, this path won't bring them closer to home. It'll lead them straight into something far more terrifying. They soon arrive at a desolate gas station, nearly falling apart and seemingly abandoned. Olivia, needing to use the restroom, suggests they head inside the small, eerie shop. Inside, they discover an elderly man slumped behind the counter, completely unresponsive. No matter how hard they try to rouse him, he doesn't flinch. An eerie silence settles in, heavy and unnerving. Then, without warning, a woman appears. Her presence is sharp and unsettling, her tone immediately confrontational as she demands to know who they are and why they're bothering her husband. The couple quickly explains. They're lost, and Olivia desperately needs a restroom. They also ask if she has a map or directions. But instead of offering help, the woman lets out a strange, almost mocking laugh. She approaches the motionless man and speaks to him like the couple isn't even there. Her voice is oddly calm, almost too calm, and she mutters something chilling. People who find themselves here never seem to find their way out. Her words send a cold ripple through them. The old man doesn't react, still silent. Finally, she tosses Olivia a restroom key. As Olivia walks off, the woman leans in closer to Reed and offers him a supposed shortcut through the woods. She insists it's the quickest route back to the city. Reed hesitates, suspicious, but accepts the directions. They drive off soon after, thinking they're heading back to safety. But what they don't realize is the path they've been given won't lead them out. It will lead them deeper in, and behind them, the woman watches, grinning faintly, as if she already knows the nightmare waiting just beyond the trees. Unaware of the horrors that await, they continue toward their destination. Along the drive, they spot what seems to be a quicker route and decide to take it. Reed remains tense, still shaken by his father's parting words. Echoes from the past creep into his mind, childhood memories he's tried to bury. His father, a hardened hunter, had always expected Reed to follow in his footsteps. At just 9 years old, Reed witnessed his father shoot a deer, then force him to skin it. That moment etched itself deep into his memory, shaping a silent vow. He would never become that kind of man. The thought of his own children ever looking at him with the same fear and revulsion haunted him. As these thoughts swirl, a sudden jolt snaps them both back to reality. A rusted car bumper sits ominously in the middle of the road, clearly untouched for years. Olivia, concerned, reminds Reed this is the second time today he's almost crashed. Reed, disoriented but trying to stay composed, steps out to drag the bumper off the road. No sooner do they start moving again when something strange begins. Blood slowly seeps across the windshield, spreading until it's completely covered in crimson. A dark, whispering voice hisses near Reed's ear, calling his name in a chilling tone. Then suddenly, he's back. Olivia is beside him, asking if he's okay. Dazed, Reed mutters that he must be tired from hours of driving. But Olivia corrects him. It's only been 5 minutes. Confused, Reed brushes it off, thinking fatigue is playing tricks on his mind. As they venture deeper into the forest, Reed spots an old man standing motionless by the side of the road. Despite Olivia's protests that the stranger could be dangerous, Reed pulls over. He rolls down the window and asks if the man needs help, but the old man, clearly agitated by their presence, begins shouting, "Turn back! Go back!" Startled, they quickly drive off, the tension between them growing thicker. Olivia lashes out, accusing Reed of being reckless, nearly causing crashes and now stopping for strangers in the middle of nowhere. Her frustration spills over as she questions whether he's still punishing her for what happened 3 years ago. Reed tries to reassure her, saying it was a mistake and it's all in the past. Olivia falls silent, but both remain unaware that something far worse is still lurking ahead. Later, they pull over so Olivia can relieve herself. Reed watched her vanish into the trees. Minutes passed, but she didn't return. Out of the corner of his eye, he thought he saw something, just a shadow slipping by. As he approached the woods, a pine cone dropped unexpectedly from above, startling him. He turned to head back to the car, only to hear a sound behind him. The car's back door was now wide open. Reed checked inside, only to find the seat empty. Moments later, Olivia burst out from the woods, pale and shaken. She claimed a wild animal was nearby. Reed tried asking what she saw, but Olivia could barely explain, only that the trees had started shaking and strange noises surrounded her. Reed tried to comfort her, insisting wild animals were normal in mountain areas. Still, something felt wrong. Then, Olivia brings up the odd couple they had spoken to earlier, the ones who pointed them toward a supposed shortcut. But Reed doesn't recall meeting anyone like that. Confused, he questions her, but Olivia firmly insists it happened. She suggests he might just be exhausted and urges him to get some rest. Reed eventually dozes off. When he wakes, they're still driving. Frustrated, he demands to know why they haven't reached their destination. Olivia turns to him with an eerie calmness and whispers something that chills him. "We're never getting home." Reed looks over, only to see her face twisted into a demonic form. He bolts awake again, heart pounding. Olivia sits beside him, completely normal, as if nothing had happened. Olivia began forgetting things that had just happened, like the encounter with a roadside old man. Her memory was stuck on the moment they saw the car bumper earlier. Reed grew uneasy. Moments later, Olivia slammed on the brakes. There was that same bumper again. Reed clearly remembered moving it earlier. They realized in horror, they had been going in circles. Noticing that Olivia wasn't feeling well, Reed headed to the back of the car to grab something for her to eat. Suddenly, a blood-soaked woman appeared in the road. Olivia screamed and swerved around her, but when she glanced back, there was no one there. They had been driving for what felt like hours, yet there it was again, the bumper. Panic took hold. Reed stepped out to investigate. The sky turned unnaturally dark. Using his flashlight, he spotted a car on the roadside, an exact copy of their own. Then, a blood dropped from above. Their light revealed a bloodied, mangled body hanging from a tree. Before they could react, a knife-wielding stranger lunged at them. Reed and Olivia narrowly dodged and ran for the car. Reed, enraged, tried ramming the attacker, but the figure clung to the hood and tore off their bumper. As the fuel gauge neared empty, tension between the couple boiled over. Olivia snapped, blaming Reed and regretting the trip altogether. Just as Reed was about to respond, the attacker appeared again, this time blocking their path. The car wouldn't start. With no choice, they fled on foot. Suddenly, headlights approached. A car honked and sped toward them. Reed and Olivia dove into the woods, hiding behind a fallen tree. Once the coast was clear, they returned to the road. But again, something was off. They couldn't remember what had just happened. Even the car seemed unfamiliar. Searching for keys, Reed found a photo of Olivia with another man. A heated argument broke out. Olivia stormed off. But when Reed looked again at the photo, he realized the man was himself. Before he could react, the attacker struck him from behind. Reed woke tied up beside Olivia. In the distance, the assailant gnawed on bones. Reed apologized to Olivia, sensing the end was near. But just as the attacker approached, the roadside old man appeared, tackling him and saving them. The old man explained the forest was warped by magnetic fields, trapping victims in time loops and erasing their memories. He'd been stuck for years. As they passed a signpost, the old man lost his memory again, forgetting who they were. With no choice, Reed and Olivia moved on. Climbing a hill, they spotted something impossible. Another Olivia walking out of the woods. A second Reed waited at the car. Realizing these were duplicates, Reed crept behind them and stole a spare gas canister from the car. Olivia's double sensed something was wrong. When real Reed made a noise, the fake Reed thought it was an animal and ran back. Watching it unfold, the real couple realized their earlier misfortunes were caused by these doppelgangers. Fueling up, they raced down the mountain road, only to spot the attacker again. Reed honked to distract him, hoping to give his duplicate a chance to escape. Olivia then proposed something radical: drive in reverse to break the loop. Reed agreed and sped backward. But as they passed the signpost, their memories suddenly vanished again. The last thing they remembered was a fight from earlier that day. Olivia, now affectionate, searched the glove compartment for first aid. There she found a woven bag, and inside, the very knife the attacker had used. Horrified, she questioned Reed, who denied everything. But her fear took over, and she forced him out of the car. Just then, the attacker suddenly appeared. Reed, who was outside the car, didn't hand the car keys to Olivia and instead ran into the woods. The attacker chased after him. Reed hid behind a tree, but unfortunately, he dropped the car keys, which the attacker found. Unable to locate Reed, the attacker eventually left. Inside the car, Olivia suddenly heard a voice beside her. When she turned, she saw another version of herself, covered in blood and begging for help. Horrified, she stepped out of the car, only to be suddenly stabbed in the stomach by the attacker. As Olivia collapsed, she realized the attacker was herself. Reed returned and tackled the fake Olivia, saving her. Her wounds were non-fatal. But before they could regroup, another figure attacked, this time, a second Reed. In that moment, they understood. The attackers were twisted versions of themselves, born from unresolved conflict and emotional darkness. Reed collapsed to the ground. The fake Reed bound Olivia, and as she remembered the hanging corpse from earlier, terror overwhelmed her. But the real Reed slashed the duplicate's throat and set the gasoline-soaked road ablaze. The fire consumed the duplicate as Reed's memories rushed back. Reed restarted the car and accelerated in reverse. The sky twisted, stars spun, then came a blinding light. Reed awoke at the mountain trail entrance where the nightmare had begun. Their car sat parked. But Olivia wasn't breathing. Shattered and directionless, Reed calls his father, who gently tells him that time will help him forget. But Reed knows the truth. He can't forget. Not until he returns to that road. The weight of Olivia's memory is too much to bear. Leaving her behind, he picks up a familiar wooden stick, the same one once held by an old strange man, because now, Reed is that old man, broken, haunted, and alone, wandering back to the cursed highway, unaware of what's really happening. Suddenly, Olivia begins to stir. She's alive and pregnant. Back on the road, Reed's memories start to slip away. But suddenly, a little girl calls out to him. She's holding a photo of him and Olivia, and her eyes mirror his. That's when it hits him. Olivia survived. She came back for him, and she gave birth to their daughter. And the story comes to an end. Thank you for watching until the end of this video. Subscribe for more videos like this.